to the air scoop. When we're running down the road at 60 miles an hour, this will draw in the air as we're going down the road. You need about 300 cubic feet of air for every pound of coal you burn. And we burn up to 2 pounds a second, so that's 500-600 cubic feet of air that we need every second. So it draws in through the ash pan and then this. So you have to make sure that there's no ash in there to restrict the airflow.
I'm going to open the valve that allows water to flow to the injectors, and this handle opens the injector and injects water into the boiler. We have to use steam pressure from the engine to inject the water into the engine because it's at 200 and some psi, so water just won't naturally flow in. We have to force it in. The sound you hear is the water injecting into the boiler. You don't want to go any more than 5 pounds on pressure because too much cold water is not good for the boiler. This is the main pressure gauge. I don't know if you can see that, but right now we're sitting at about 203 pounds, which is fine when we're hostling. And what hostling means is that we're just keeping the engine warm overnight. If you let it cool down too much and lose the pressure with the expansion and contraction of that boiler plating, it's really hard on it when you let it cool down. So we prefer to keep it hot. It's much better for the engine, and then it takes us less time to get it ready to roll. Our normal operating pressure is 250 psi. So it's easier for us to just keep people on it overnight and keep it warm. So that's all we're doing right now, is just maintaining a fire, keeping the pressure between 200 and 210. That's pretty much normal hostling temperature, or pressure. So that's all I'm doing right now, is keeping the water up in the glass, which is the amount of water in the boiler, and they got dual glasses here. You got one on each side, and you can see in there, you can see the level of the water in the gauge. And there's your true reading. It's dual glasses, so that makes it a lot nicer in case one fails or something happens to it. You've got another one to rely on. Now I'm going to look at the fire real quick. I just open it a little bit, just enough to get a peek, because the cold air rushing in there is not good for the fire either. If you notice, there's 6 of these. What it is there's grates inside the firebox. That's what the coal sits on. There are little metal grates in there, and they rock back and forth. And with this tall bar here, which I'll grab and move over here, what we can do is we unlock the shoe, and there's 6 different grate areas in there. So by pulling the lever backwards, we just rock it a little bit, and what that does, it's the same as taking your hand and shaking your charcoal grill. It drops the ash down to the bottom into an ash pan that's underneath. And what that does is that cleans our fire and makes the fire burn more efficiently, just like your grill. If you got too much charcoal and ash, it's not going to burn. So you need the right amount of air coming up through and the right amount of coal to get efficient burning. If it gets clogged, we have to shake these and drop some of the ash down. And then we shove the ash into an ash pan that's underneath the bottom of the engine. If we ever had to dump the fire in an emergency, you push these forward, and that dumps all the coal into the ash pan. So you totally drop your whole fire then. But that would be in an emergency situation. I just need the tape again. Little bank over there. Get up. Okay, we're going to put a little more coal in. This is called a stoker, and it's basically a big auger that augers the coal from the tender and pushes it up into this pot. That steam jet blows the coal out into the firebox then while we're going down the road.
Okay.
You'd never keep up with this shoveling by hand going down the road. There's no way, it's too big. This engine uses about 200 gallons of water a mile, and somewhere's around a half a ton of coal a mile. So we can get about 400 miles on a load of coal, and a load of coal is about 32 tons.